Welcome into TDN Against the Spread. Paige DeMacos, Jake Arians, who's bobbing his head along with the intro, and Jamie Eisner. Feels like a good opportunity to win some money, guys. So I think that was the intro. I liked it. I liked how Jake was bobbing along in the middle. Jamie's ready to rock. How are you guys doing today? How are we doing?
Fantastic.
Jamie?
Great. I still can't get over the faces on the money thing. We'll say it every week. It's just, it's both hilarious
That's
and
what
awkward
made me
at the same
bob my
time.
head. That's what had me head bobbing right there. I was like, we got a little face on some cash. I like it.
Yeah, it will never get old. So shout out to our guys over at TDN for putting together an epic intro. But guys, let's talk about Thursday night football before we get into these player props, of which, Jamie, you have a player prop for this Thursday night matchup that you want to talk about. The Colts, it was a pick 'em last night when I looked at it. It's now moved to Colts -1 playing the Tennessee Titans. I'd love to hear from you guys kind of what you think is going to happen in this game. Jake, I'll let you go first. How do you see this one playing out?
You know, something's got to give. The Colts haven't given up a 100-yard rusher yet this year. Derrick Henry averaging over 92 yards on Thursday Night Football, including the greatest game he's ever played in the NFL a few years ago against the Jacksonville Jaguars. To me, this is all Ryan Tannehill. This Colts defense is legit. They're going to slow down the run. Tannehill's going to have to make some plays. And if Tennessee can get some pressure on Phillip Rivers. I don't like Indy's running back situation at all. Our condolences to Corey Davis, who's going to play tonight after losing his brother to cancer yesterday. I think he could be the X factor. We've seen it so many times in primetime football where somebody goes through something like this and they play anyway and they just have a monster game. And I think maybe that's where Tannehill goes to get this one done. I've got the Titans winning this game. They're better. For Indy to get points at home, yes, their defense is bad, but we still don't know where we're getting from this Colts offense very much. Phillip Rivers is a statue. The running back situation's whatever. If T.Y. plays, whatever. He hasn't done anything all year. Give me the Titans 27-23.
All right. You like the Titans 27-23. They are officially a 1-point underdog at BetOnline as of right now. Jamie, do you see this one playing out like Jake, or you see this one shaking out a little differently?
I'm going the opposite way here, and I'm actually really excited for this game. Usually two AFC South teams on Thursday Night Football just gives me indigestion, but this is actually going to be a fun matchup. Like this Titans offense versus this Colts defense, which is #1 in total defense, is going to be really exciting. I think that's going to be the difference for me. I haven't been thrilled with what I've seen from Tennessee's offense over the last couple of weeks. The Colts are playing out of their mind, particularly with Darius Leonard back. I think the Titans might struggle to move the ball consistently, which will give Phillip Rivers at least enough time against this 20th ranked Titans defense that won't have Adoree Jackson back for this game, even though he was activated. He will not play. I think they can put up enough points in this game to sneak out a victory. I think this is close. Maybe it comes down to a field goal in the end, but I'm going to lean toward the Colts here.
Okay, you're going against the home team, and you and Jake disagree, which I always love. The player prop that you like in this one, Jamie, is Michael Pittman Jr., a TDN favorite, at least 3 catches. Why do you like this one, even though you're picking against the Colts?
Well, I mean, I am picking the Colts, but I like this one because he played 87% of the snaps last week in Indianapolis. He's averaging almost 3 catches a game already this season with sporadic play and dealing with injury. They want to get him involved. Even though T.Y. Hilton's probably going to play in this game, he's still going to be a factor. The Titans are allowing more than 17 catches a game to wide receivers this year at a catch rate of over nearly 70% just to wide receivers. I think there's going to be enough to go around, and that's a pretty low total. I mean, to get the 3 catches is really not asking that much for Michael Pittman, who's their #2 wide receiver right now.
Jake, I know you picked against this football team. Do you think that there's an opportunity for Michael Pittman to have over 3 catches? Do you like this player prop that Jamie's rolling with today?
I don't like it. I love it. I mean, he's got to come on eventually. We know the talent that he has. Phillip Rivers is going to throw it more than he probably should. I love that one. I'm going to throw you a curveball, and I'm going to mess our producers up here. I got like another one. Jonnu Smith over 29.5 yards. He's hit that in 5 out of 8 games, and the 3 that he didn't, he was within 1 yard of that. So that's another one that if you're scouring for some player props, I saw that one this morning that I really like as well.
Oh, poor Courtney behind the scenes. Really,
don't worry about putting up the stats. We'll just listen to that one.
Yeah, no, but poor Courtney behind the scenes getting thrown a curveball last second there. You guys are going against each other as far as a pick for this game. but you both like those player props. So I think those are good to move on with if everybody wants to check them out at betonline.ag. Let's talk underdogs, guys. I like this first one that Jake has. Bills +1 against the Cardinals. The Bills coming off what was a very good performance last week, going on the road to play the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals lost the football game to the Miami Dolphins, but they're still favored here. Very interesting considering how easily it was for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they really took it to that Seattle Seahawks team. Jake, why do you like this one?
You're basically telling me that the Cardinals are 2 points better than the Bills on a neutral field. I don't believe that. The Bills did struggle. I talked about that last week for 4 weeks. But they came out and looked like they did early in the year. Josh Allen was back on fire. Yes, it was the Seahawks defense. The Cardinals defense is better than that. But the Bills defense played a lot better last week. They forced some turnovers. They slowed down the run. I like them to do that again. I think it's a really close game. But I'm going to take the Bills 28-24 on the strength of Josh Allen. The Cardinals still have to prove it to me. I think they're getting a little bit too much love here from Vegas.
All right, we're going to need a two-shot for this next one because Jamie, my guy, he knows the record, and he knows where I was headed. Kirk Cousins has not beat the Chicago Bears since he went to Minnesota, and the Chicago Bears are at home on primetime against the Minnesota Vikings, and they're being gifted 2.5 points. Jamie, tell me why the Chicago Bears are going to cover this 2.5.
They're going to cover and they're going to win this game outright. So that's why they're my underdog.
Jamie.
I got the handy dandy legal pad here again from last week because I want to read some stats for you. Obviously, you mentioned that Kirk Cousins 0-3 against the Bears since taking over as the starting quarterback for the Vikings, but he's averaged only 209 yards per game passing, 3 total touchdowns in those games, and 2 interceptions. So he has done nothing. But you know who's done less than nothing? Dalvin Cook. Against this defense. He's never even rushed for 40 yards in a game against the Chicago Bears. He has 86 total rushing yards on 34 carries. That's 2.5 yards a carry for those keeping track at home. Vikings haven't scored more than 20 points against this Bears team in the Kirk Cousins era.
Keep it coming, Jamie. Keep it coming. I love all these statistics.
I'm going to trust the Bears defense in this game. I really am. And look, Dalvin Cook, I would guess Dalvin Cook gets to that 40-yard threshold this week. I'm not going to get ridiculous here. And the Bears rushing defense hasn't been as great this year as it's been in years past. It's been their past defense that's been really sensational, ranked in the top 10. But this, to me, is an extremely close game. It's going to come down to a field goal probably either way. And Foles hasn't been good, but it could be good enough against this very banged up and young Minnesota secondary to keep this game close. I think the Bears can sneak out this game outright. And I think this might be 3 by the time we get to kickoff on Monday night.
The last time that I was, one of the last football games I attended live in Chicago was the 2018 game where Kirk Cousins said, and since then has not beaten the Bears. The only reason this game got flexed to Sunday night is because of us. Yeah, that didn't go so well for you, Kirk. Didn't go well that night, and it hasn't gone so well since. So really, really looking forward to this matchup because Matt Nagy, 4-0 against that Minnesota Vikings team, has had his way thus far. Let's move on until before I turn this into an absolutely only about the Bears show. So we gotta move on before my heart starts racing. Your stay away of the week. Perfect transition. Looks like we're going to talk about the Bears here again. Jake, why are you staying away from this Vikings Bears game?
While I love them as a dog and almost picked them as a dog as well, Dalvin Cook is averaging more yards against 8-man boxes than anybody since Adrian Peterson in 2012. So I think he absolutely gets to that 40. Wasn't that long ago. Ronald Jones went well over 100 against this Bears defense on Thursday night. The reason I'm staying away is I have no faith in Nick Foles. I have no faith in the Chicago Bears offense, and I have no faith in anybody playing quarterback for the Vikings, i.e. Kirk Cousins. I have the Bears winning 24-21. I love them as a dog.
Let's go.
There's no way I would touch this game, though. This one is complete stay away from me.
I feel like I'm just like smelling that this all so much Bears positivity for me. It's really putting me into a good place. It's putting me into a very good place because as negative as I can be about the Bears, there is one football team that I feel good about playing, and it's the Minnesota Vikings because it doesn't matter how bad Matt Nagy's offense has been, even last year in his terrible moments, somehow, some way, they always put it together against that Minnesota team. Jamie, your pick, your stay away is Jacksonville and Green Bay. Why are you staying away from this one?
So this year feels like these huge lines have been just a minefield for bettors so far. And look, I know the Packers have won 4 of their 6 wins this year, have come by 2 touchdowns or more, but I liked what I saw a little bit from Jake Luton last week. I think James Robinson can run the ball effectively. I'm just a little bit concerned that this line is going to be too high and it's going to be a really cold game. Now, if we come back here and the Packers end up winning 42-10, I'm not going to act like I was shocked. But I liked what I saw from that Jaguars offense enough to maybe get a backdoor cover here. So as long as this line is this high, I'm going to stay away from it. The Packers win, but I don't want anything to do with a line that's at -13 right now.
Yeah, especially when you got this wild card in Jake as their quarterback, who's just been somehow, some way, he's like Gardner Minshewing too. Like he's looking really good as well. So it's amazing how Jacksonville could end up with 2 better quarterbacks than the Chicago Bears. All right, the Ravens at Patriots is Jake's pick for over under. It is not available right now on BetOnline. He likes the over in this game. He actually has 2 overs that he likes. So Jake, why don't you talk about your first one and why you like Ravens at Patriots?
Not sure why they took it off the board, but the Patriots are going to move the ball. They're going to score. The Ravens defense is overrated. You can run on them basically. And when the Patriots have had to run, i.e. Kansas City, they did it and they did it very well. Cam is running the ball okay. I think they score enough points. I also think the Ravens blow their doors off and they put up enough points. So 43.5 was really low for me. And the Eagles and Giants, I think the Eagles offense bounces back. They get some guys back healthy this week. Miles Sanders is playing again. I think they score enough to make this interesting. And this Giants offense has moved the ball pretty well. Washington's defense is really good. Last week, they put up over 20 on them. I love the 44.5 here. This one seemed really low to me.
All right, Jamie, you like an over. You like 2 overs as well. Apparently, we like all of the points across the show this week. The first one, I know why you like the points. Seahawks at Rams, 54.5. And another one you like there too, Broncos and Raiders. Tell us why you're heading with the over train this weekend.
Before I get back to the handy dandy legal pad, I was this close to putting Eagles Giants on this as well. I like that one as well. I mean, I stared at that for a while because the Eagles are getting pieces back, like Jake said, and the Giants offense is going to fight you to the end, good, bad, or otherwise. They're going to fight you. But so we'll get back to the legal pad here for Seahawks Rams. The Seahawks are terrible on defense. I don't think that's breaking news. We all know that. They're allowing 32.4 points per game. But the key here is they're also scoring 34.3, which is a league high. That's the formula you want. You want great offenses with horrid defenses. That's the formula for the over. The Rams have had extra time to prepare for this game. I think they're going to have a lot of scripted plays in the first half to kind of get that offense rolling again. And I look back at the last 4 games, and I was surprised to see they've averaged, now keep in mind, with a worse Seattle offense that we've seen and a better Seattle defense, in the last 4 games, average of 57.5 points have been scored between these 2 teams. I mean, this is a traditionally high-scoring matchup. It's going to be a beautiful day in Los Angeles. There's no weather concerns. I love this one. The other one is Denver-Las Vegas, another game that's not going to be played in any conditions, over 50. I don't trust either defense. They're allowing 55.7 combined points per game. If you throw out that weather game against Cleveland with like the 40-mile-an-hour winds and the sleet and the swirling winds, the Raiders are averaging 30.3 points per game this year. That offense has been able to move the ball. Denver's throwing the ball a lot more lately, 43 pass attempts on average the last 3 games. I don't trust either one of these defenses, and I think both of these passing offenses can have success against each other. So I like both of these games to go over.
You know that Jamie is on the over because he gave you 2 weather reports in that 2-minute spiel there. So you know he's officially on the over.
Weather report. I love
the
it.
Eisner weather report and the legal pad. I love it.
Because there was another game I loved here, and then weather screwed it up and I had to change it.
Listen,
I was all on the Cleveland-Houston over, and now like Cleveland's going to have Cleveland weather, and it's going to ruin everything. But
this time of the year, man, that's you got to go with the places that have the good weather opportunities, and LA is definitely not Cleveland, so I understand that one for certain. Jake, locks of the week. Each of you have 2 locks of the week this week. So we're just giving to the people. How nice and kind of the guys to just give away these free locks. So nice of them. Jake, you like the Denver Broncos going on the road to play the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders -4.5. Why do you like that one specifically?
I love this game. I love what Jamie said. I think if you want to parlay this together and go with the over and the Raiders here, I'd love that as well. I almost put the Raiders down for cover in that. This Raiders offense is really good. period. End of story. I don't have a lot of faith in Denver's offense. They're throwing it more. They're moving it a little bit, but they still have a lot of young pieces. This Raiders defense is okay. They stopped the run pretty well. They're going to put a lot of pressure on Drew Lock, but Derek Carr's still playing at an elite level. He has all year. I've seen stuff about how good Justin Simmons is playing at safety and how he can neutralize Darren Waller. Well, nobody's done that yet. I don't see that happening at all this week. They have other pieces, and I think they're going to run it okay. But this Raiders offense has been really, really good. Really good in the red zone, really good on third down. Derek Carr has been phenomenal. I'm going to ride it here. I don't really like the 4.5. I'd rather it be 3.5, 4, but it's not going to be. So I'd like to put this together with the 51 and take both as lock.
Yeah, Jamie kind of teed you up nicely there with talking about why he liked the Raiders and kind of that one game, the outlier game where they played in Cleveland, and you can't hold them against them for not being able to put up big points in that game. Jamie, you talked about one of your locks already, but why is it moved from something you like to something you're locking in, the Seattle and LA Rams over for 54.5?
Just the more I look at this game, and I always get nervous when we get really high lines, but it's kind of fallen back a little bit. So it's under that like 2 touchdown a quarter threshold where I almost will not touch an NFL over at that point. I just don't see how this is a low scoring game. Like I don't have any faith that Seattle can stop anybody because they haven't stopped anybody. The Rams have extra time to prepare, and Goff is really good within structure and within scripted plays. He's always has been, even through his struggles. And coming off of a bye week, he's going to have a lot of scripted plays that they can operate with. I'm just excited for this game to put up a ton of points. And again, one of the very few games this week that has 0 weather concerns. And then my other one is Ravens -7. When you get the opportunity to bet on it again, there was a positive COVID test, so that got pulled off the board, but that will be available again pretty soon. I just think that this is going to be a tough game for New England. It doesn't look like Stephon Gilmore is going to be back. Last I checked, he was not practicing today. So I don't see any reason why Lamar Jackson and Marquise Brown can't do what Joe Flacco and Brashad Perriman just did to J.C. Jackson a couple times in this game. They're going to blitz the hell out of Cam Newton, and they're going to force him to try to win the ball with him through the air, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it enough. So at this point, short week, Ravens are pissed off. They can take advantage of this vulnerable defense. I like them to cover the touchdown spread.
Yeah, you'd think that Ravens team offensively that hasn't really put it all together. You just watched Joe Flacco put it all together with that New York Jets team against that New England team. Smoking Joe Flacco. That's right. We still got to give him a little credit, but man, oh man, we haven't seen the Jets do that to anybody. So you'd assume this might be a little bit of a get-right game for that Baltimore team. So I like that one a lot. Officially the 2-minute warning, guys. You guys both have a minute. I'll let you go back to back. So Jamie, you go first. The time is starting now.
It's time to watch the weather again. I think that was a big thing. I was all prepared to talk to you about why I love that Houston Cleveland over and how the return of Nick Chubb against the worst rushing defense. But this is a time where you have to pay attention to the weather, and you could play this 2 different ways. If you can kind of forecast ahead, or maybe you pay for one of those advanced weather apps, you can hop on some unders earlier in the week if you want to take a chance that the weather is going to turn really bad in those stadiums on Sunday. Your other option is you sit back and wait before you bet on a total, because we're going to see shifting weather, particularly in the middle and northeastern parts of the country, that are going to affect these games. And we have seen lines already from yesterday to today move a point and a half, 2 points off of their total because of weather concerns and weather concerns only. So if you're somebody that wants to take a risk, you could take some unders earlier in the week. If you're somebody that hates betting unders and you want to root for points and overs, I would wait till the very last minute, even if you don't get the best number, to bet on one of those totals.
Jake,
so there's not much that takes a back seat to football for me during the fall, right? But the Masters has never been played in November either. If you want something really fun to do on Saturday with college football basically being wiped out to COVID, the Masters with no fans in November, unprecedented, spectacular. By the way, the last time this was held, Tiger Woods won. He's still the defending champion. He was 4 under through 10 already today. I know what I'll be doing on Saturday, and that's watching the Masters in the fall. This college football thing has gotten all kinds of crazy already. Pac-12, all this stuff going on. I'm not sure the Masters is really going to take a front seat to the NFL for me on Sunday, but I'll be flipping back and forth, or at least have a phone going on. A ton of awesome stuff going on there. I'm a big history guy, sports history especially. You're talking about something so different and one of the most traditional things. I know this has nothing to do with football. I'm just really excited. The Masters is on in November, and we get to watch it and pay attention to it. It's going to be really fun.
Very excited to watch the Masters on a very small TV where the big TV will still be on the big dog
Yes.
football because
Yes.
let's as exciting as the Masters can be, golf is golf and football is football. So it will be on the side camera. I'll be looking at it. I'll be like, oh, look at how nice the leaves look. It's nice to look at Georgia at this time of the year. It's a little different. It's not the same greenery that you use, but they keep that place at tip top shape. So I'm excited to see what it looks like just this time of the year, which will make it different scenery wise. And if Tiger's playing on Sunday, there will for sure be one TV that has Tiger on. If he's rocking the red, if he's wearing the red polo, we know he means business on Sunday morning. All right, guys, why don't you tell everybody how they can follow you on social media and keep up with everything that you are putting out for the Draft Network? Jake, you first.
Arians NFL on Instagram and Jake B. Arians on Twitter.
Jamie?
Follow me at Jamie Eisner on Twitter, and you can follow us at TDN Fantasy to see all the rankings, sneaky starts, start-sit players, and everything we do throughout the year on fantasy football, and, of course, a recap of our locks of the week and our primetime betting previews.
Shout out to our girl Courtney behind the scenes who's producing the show because she put up these lovely graphics that showcase what you guys, people can follow you guys on social media. So now you have no excuses. You heard it verbally and you had it on the screen. So make sure you're following the guys, make sure you're checking out what they're doing, and good luck this weekend betting, and be sure to check everything out on betonline.ag. Thank you.